Are the Israelis blackmailing Donald Trump?
I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be hard. I mean, look, the man's a billionaire, and they do all sorts of things because they have the money to do it. They're always surrounded by lots of women or anything else they want. So I suppose anything is possible. I would simply say this. I think most of us, and I include myself in this category, what adults do, men and women, in private is their business, Judge. I mean, I'm not interested in what they do. Whatever they do, they can do. But when you include children, it's over. That's unacceptable. And that's the real question here, because we know that Epstein was a pedophile. We know that he was feeding the appetite of pedophiles. This is a procurer, a pimp. And this man was actively engaged in blackmailing, not in the usual sense for money, but working for the Mossad. And I don't doubt the CIA had a hand in it as well, maybe MI6. So unfortunately, the possibility that he was or is being blackmailed is real. The question is, for what? If it's women, come on. Every NFL star, every National Basketball Association player, all these people, they have endless access to women. And if they're in the other direction, men, I suppose. We don't care. That doesn't matter. I mean, it may be unsavory. It may lower people's opinion of someone on the basis of that kind of behavior. But what really counts here more than anything else is children. We have too many children disappearing in this country every year. We still have children being trafficked over the border with Mexico and frankly into our harbors and across into Canada. It's horrendous. It's offensive. It's wrong. It's evil. That's what bothers everybody. And that's what President Trump needs to be sure he is not part of.
I suppose he's tainted just for being a friend of Epstein. He must have known what Epstein was doing. I would find it inconceivable that Trump himself engaged in this, but he must have known what was going on.
Well, when you lie down with pigs, you inevitably come up smelling like garbage. That's the bad news. And again, I that's the last thing I want to hear about the president of the United States.
Correct.
So I hope that's not the issue, but I think they're going to have to come clean with this. I think these Epstein files are going to come out. And if it does turn out that he's being blackmailed, well, first of all, if that's the case, then he has a choice. He can either endure the shame and the misery of being outed publicly, or he can resign. But if you're the president of the United States, you cannot make policy decisions on the basis of what a foreign intelligence entity is holding against you.
Right. Nor can you give a commutation or a pardon to the sidekick of this pedophile, whose conviction was based on the evidence of those she transported to him.
Well, and I think what's even more disturbing is the reports that are coming out that wealthy Jewish billionaires and others are pouring money and influence into whatever they can to help and rescue this woman. I don't understand that. That's reprehensible. That's the last thing. And that's probably one of the reasons that she's now being released from the prison where she was being held and given some sort of minimum security opportunity, which, as I understand it, when it comes to sex crimes, you shouldn't have that option.
She's in a prison that is forbidden to house sex crime people, particularly people that were involved in trafficking, but that's where she is. Whatever she said to Todd Blanche, Trump's former lawyer, now the number 2 person in the Department of Justice, was enough to cause them administratively to move her. All right, enough with all this. Colonel, thank you very much. Thank you for letting me.
I could just add one last thing for everybody.
Sure, of course.
You remember that President Trump sat in the Oval Office and turned to Zelensky and said to him, "You have no cards to play."
Right.
Well, right now, President Trump in Ukraine has no cards to play.